You are my sunshine, my only sunshine. You make me happy when skies are gray.
You want to kick in, Terry?
Go ahead,
Take it over, man.
Can I get my voice? Okay.
Do you have one?
Tell me if you feel like dancing. Tell me if you feel all right.
Not bad.
All right.
Tell me if you feel like dancing.
Okay, that's enough.
We'll cut you there. All right. So we're doing another construction live here. Jim, we're at Caruk Hall.
Or a Caruk Hall again.
Again. But this time we've got two newbies across the table there. We finally got Dan. We got Dan here from Caruk Hall, Dan Hall.
The Hall.
And then we got Terry Cord.
Yes, sir.
So Terry will explain a little bit about himself a little bit later on, what's going on. But today, Jim, what do we want to talk about today?
Well, we're going to talk about partnerships, how they work, how they don't work, and what the ups and the downs are of partnerships. I think everybody should know that when you're definitely getting into the any business, right?
For sure.
Especially the construction business, because it's so up and down.
It's so personal, the construction industry.
It is personal.
So we got a nice little cross section here. We got myself, who's solo-ish.
Yeah.
You've got Dan and Jim, partnership.
We're solo-ish.
Solo-ish, but partnership.
Yeah, and then we partnered up.
Yeah, and then you got Terry, who's out of the game.
He just packed in and got out.
Tapped out of the game.
He's the calmest looking one here.
It's true. He's the most laid-back looking one here. It says a lot about
Speaks for
this.
itself.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, guys.
And he still has his hair.
So I actually want to open up the show with a little bit of construction history. Jim likes this, but I want to ask you guys, so this, we are doing this in Canada, so I want to get you guys, what's our population? Any idea what our population is as of 2020, mid-2020? Take a stab.
3.5.
Where? Canada?
No, all of Canada.
I'd say 33 million.
Any other guesses?
35 million.
I was going to go down to 30.
37,742,154 people.
Well,
We are growing. Of that percentage or that amount, how many you think are in construction? Men and women. So before we get into that, we are number 39 in all the countries in the world regarding population.
really?
So how many men and women are in construction out of those 37,742,154 people? Take a stab.
Percentage-wise?
No, actual count.
Just a count.
It's not it's a round number. It's not an exact number.
I'd say million.
I was going to say 15%.
1.2 million are in construction at some sort of segment.
Wow.
So here's
37 million.
Here's the scary part. What do you guys think is going to be the shortfall in the next 6 years regarding people in trades that are leaving to people that are coming in? The discrepancy on the number.
Oh, I think it's going to be 40%.
It's not bad. So so this is who's retiring. Out of that amount, 247,900 are retiring within the next 6 years. They're only expecting another 215,000 to get into construction.
So it's
About
almost
30,000.
Yeah.
No, is it 247 versus 217?
15, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's... Yeah, I don't believe those numbers.
This is all from Billforce. This is all like a survey that was done in 2016, but it also carried on over to 2020. And so that's what they're predicting. They're actually predicting, they see it actually dropping even further by the time it gets to 2026. The amount of people coming in versus the amount of people leaving. So I'm not, no, you're younger than me, are you, Dan?
45.
Yeah, you're younger than me. Right, but you guys, no, you're the oldest.
I'm the oldest man.
Okay, but the thing is that he's out, Terry's out.
He's out. He's 60.
I'm
He's
60.
out.
You're kind of tickling outish,
Maybe.
Maybe you'll stick around. So Dan and I are still in it for a little while.
Yeah.
But the truth is, in the next 10, 15 years, there's a huge segment of the industry, people are going to be out of this game.
Yeah.
Right? So that's where the whole partnerships and businesses and trying to figure out how do we run solo? How do we get partnerships? How do we get out of it? How do we gracefully get out of it? That's what we want to talk about today.
Yeah, but I don't know if there's any gracefully way to get out of it. I mean,
you never really get out of it.
I don't think you do. I mean, if you like it, I don't think you completely get out of it. I mean, Terry's not completely out of it. He does his own thing. Well, yeah, but you bought a house, did your little thing, but whatever.
You're not out of it? You're still tinking around?
No.
Hang on. The question is, are you sending out invoices?
Well, okay, he's on the golf course a lot now, and he's never golfed before.
So you got into landscaping is what you got into? Is that what's going on?
No, I'm gone.
He's
boys.
pretty much
No, it's about drinking, enjoying the coffee, maybe a golf
So
game.
so
here
let's
or
start
there.
with that. So you left.
Right.
Reasons why you left.
I got my number. I did what I had to do, and
Did you work for that number? You worked to that purpose?
yes,
That was the objective.
yes,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, but are you asking why he got out of our business?
Kind of both, yeah.
Both, right?
Oh, no, two different things.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why did you get out
So-
of construction and renovations, brother?
All right. I was in that. I started in that in the mid '80s. Started with very small work and just grew from there and took on bigger responsibilities. And within a few years, I was renovating complete homes, and it was a good it was a good thing. It took a life of its own. But I also noticed as time went on that, especially when you got into bigger work and the time basically the longer you were on a job, obviously the more complicated it got, but more than that, it was also really about relationships, I guess, somewhat, and people get set in their ways and
Client relationships or
yeah.
GC trade relationship?
No, more client relationship, stuff like that. So got to a point where just got kind of tired of
Chasing.
Basically chasing, and I mean the famous thing is especially toward the end of a job when you've got whatever it is, 30, 40 grand out there. And again, this goes back to because I got out of it in the mid '90s, so
right after the recession and kind of the boom.
It was start of the boom.
Start
of the boom. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're still coming out of the recession.
Okay.
Really, is what was going on. Yeah. Where was I with this?
No.
Clients owing you 40 grand.
Yeah. So basically, people,
Kind of like our everyday discussion day.
Another week at Caruk Hall.
yeah. So it's the old standard thing, right? You got say 40 grand on the table, and they're pointing out to you a line or a kind of a line between the ceiling and the wall, and they say to you, in that 20 feet of length, I can see that's at a level by a 1/16 of an inch. So therefore, I'm going to hold back this $40,000.
But if you move to the right 6 inches, you can see it better. And if you come back at 4 o'clock, you'll even see it more.
Let the sun set a bit more. Okay, it'll be good.
With that, I just got basically. It wasn't with everybody or everyone, but you do get these situations, and after a while, just they wear on you. And,
But don't you find that it's not with everyone, and it's.
No.
I kind of call it the chosen few, right? But just that one or two clients, they can just bring you so down, right?
Yeah, they sap you.
Yeah,
They-
but
they suck it out of
Don't
you.
the bad clients also educate you and teach you to?
Oh fuck, brother! I've got 45 years of fucking education. I'm sick of it.
Education's overrated.
Don't hold back, Jim. Just tell me exactly
Or is
the
that
truth.
experience? I get to still every day we learn something new.
It's true.
Right?
It's true. So you guys have been partners for how long now? Caruk Hall,
Going 6?
6 years.
Yeah.
6 years. So you were on your own, Dan, for a little while.
Yeah.
And then Jim, you were on your own. I remember the Caruk group or whatever. For
I
quite
was
a bit.
thinking about it the other day. 81 is when I
Oh, really? That far back?
started the Caruk group. Yeah.
No, it's 5 years because my kids are 5 and they were born right when we partnered. So
It's 5 years. September. September.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Happy anniversary.
Yeah. We're going into our 6th.
Yeah, we're in our 6th year right now.
Yeah. So we haven't got divorced yet.
No.
So we're good.
Isn't it like if you get past the first year, you're kind of on, it's always going to be around?
I guess.
Because you've gotten used to each other. You figured out how the wheel works.
Yeah.
Makes sense, no?
Yeah.
Well, obviously the first year was growing pains. We both had to figure out how we work. We have two different ways of coming at a job, two different ways of coming at a client, but we make it work. You know, there's some clients that I know I just can't do. And, you know, Dan's got a more, I don't know how you would put it. He's better at it, and he can go at him and get what we need to get out of them.
More like militant regime.
Right. Yeah.
Is a partnership better?
Yeah.
It is, eh?
I think so. I mean, Jim and I went for a little drive a couple weeks ago up to a Muskoka build that we got, and I mean, and I was even saying that right to him. I said, like, no offense, Jim, if he died tomorrow, I would probably go and look for another partner, because I've just realized that, and Jim and I work very well together. It's a great synergy, but it's having the fallback to be able to. We're like each other's shrinks. Like, we talk to each other. You're able to download your stresses, and you don't have to take it home.
You don't want to take it home.
Well, and it just makes for a shitty home environment
Yeah.
too, right? My wife was like, "I'm not your shrink. Like, you can tell me shit, but we also have to talk about kids, house, structures,
Me.
things."
Yeah. Me.
I always forget about that. So I mean, I think that's one of the huge. Yeah. Well, no, you have another wife. That's
true.
Still your wife. I mean, partnerships to me, they're a marriage, and they come
Totally.
with, like Jim said earlier, pros and cons, and you have to make it work, right? And you're going to make it work. Getting a divorce is an easy out. Staying and making it work, and going through how to make it work is the hard part.
Yeah, going through the process, right?
Process, yeah.
Yeah.
But I find that a lot of these young guys, I guess in their 20s and 30s, they are not interested in partnerships.
Well, because you know what? And,
Greedy.
And either was I when I first started, you know, because you want it all for yourself.
Man, there's been a lot of days in the last couple of years that I wish I had a partner. So then, like you guys just said, it's like I can bounce stuff off to them. I can go, you deal with that client. I can't do. We don't connect.
I mean, look,
Personalities,
I was 60 when I finally got a partner. And I can say, yeah, we've had our stresses over the 5 years. I mean, we've done a shitload of work. We've had some crazy ass clients. But it's like Dan said earlier, you know what? I can finally go on a trip.
Yeah.
And know that, okay, I left this in good hands. He knows construction. He knows what he's doing. So I don't have to worry. But any other time for the last 40 years that I went on a thing, the phone wouldn't stop. So what kind of holiday is that? You don't get to decompress, right? And just get rid of everything.
Terry, was it a hard decision to kind of get out of the game?
No, not at all, actually.
Back to the most laid back individual at the table right now.
You know, the company was good. It was making money. The phone was ringing, and but basically, I wasn't having any fun anymore.
You had a lot of fun in the beginning?
Oh, absolutely.
Like we're totally enjoying the whole game
Yeah,
and everything?
absolutely,
So
yeah.
was there a moment? Was there something like a client said or a job site? Or there was, eh? You're smiling?
No, actually, you know, there was a catalyst. There was one.
Okay.
There was a job. Ended up in legals with this person. And,
I think we've all been at the table here. Yeah.
and it took a while, but it was at the same time. The flip side of it was an education. I call that my PhD. So I paid a lawyer to represent me and go through the paces and the system, and eventually, you know, something was worked out. It wasn't.
Not in your favor.
Well, you know, it wasn't what I had thought or hoped for, but it was something. But more than that, it was really, that was the, actually, and the lawyer I used was fantastic in that he was a real eye-opener, the way he did business with me. His billings and his record keeping, and, you know, he'd mail to me every, you know, whatever, once a week, and his hours are all listed. And I thought, wow, this is great. It's really there. It's a lot of clarity. And
Every
and
6 minutes.
Did I say 6 minutes? Yeah. I guess that's what it seemed like. Yeah, because
No,
those
that's
bills
what
come.
it is. They bill every,
Every
6
6
minutes.
minutes.
Yeah.
It's their
But,
software program.
Yeah, but yeah.
We know it well.
Grab the coffee, you know, photocopy here and there. You're right.
So then
But
what?
that was an education. That was really good. And that was when I realized, you know what, this isn't, you know, I've got other ideas on what I want to do. And this has been good so far. And just that this aspect of the business, it just, to me, just wasn't worth. I could just see this becoming more of a problem in time. And it just didn't turn me on. So.
I was like that a year ago. Honestly, in 1 year, it's changed. Like last year is when I had my legal bullshit, right? And I was like thinking when I was going through it, I was going, this is bullshit.
Right.
Like I don't want to experience this. I hate this. This is stressful. I'm not having fun. I'm not eating. I'm not having sex. Like it's bullshit, man. And like it's taking everything that's fun in your life away from it.
Right, yeah.
And I was like you, Terry, I was literally considering, what the hell else am I going to do now? I'm ready to move on and find something else to do now.
Yeah. Well, on that note, that's been my life basically in business. I've been in a number of businesses and they've all been good. But I basically, it's you get into a business, well, you have these preconceived notions, you get into it though, and then you learn, well, I like this, and this, but I don't like this and this about it. And so you keep going and then, another door opens somehow and you go, what, I think I've, this door that's open's got more, I think, of those positives and less of the negatives. So I moved over into that field, and that's basically what happened after that. After being in this business as a GC, I decided that I wanted something that was going to be as many of the positives as possible and least negatives. The big change there was getting involved in a business that was more of an in and out business. That is,
Short term.
Short term. You're not going in and hanging. I call it hanging your hat.
Right.
Right. And learning all the dirty laundry and all that.
Because as a GC, we get to know these people for years sometimes.
Yeah. Cool.
And sometimes we don't want to know them for years.
Right. Well,
No, you have no choice.
I don't know what kind of jobs you're doing for years. Wow.
No, by the time you meet them,
during,
prep
post.
them.
Yeah, sometimes. Yeah.
Right.
It goes.
We're doing one now. We've
Warranty
known them
periods.
we're starting next week, and we've known them for over a year.
And you guys you're starting next week.
We've signed a contract over a year ago.
And the construction's starting next week.
Just.
And so you still have a year of construction.
At least.
Yeah.
So that's 2 years right there.
Plus warranty
Right.
periods.
And yeah, exactly. And then what if they, add things?
I mean, it's 8,000 square foot house. I mean, that's not going to happen in 12 months.
No.
No, you're right. By the time you get involved with a client, they hire you, and then there's the the permit process, all this stuff. And I mean, it's a year before you even start the project.
So Terry, you made a nice, graceful way out, got out.
Yeah.
Dan, have you guys started thinking like you don't think about it at all? Like getting out, you don't think about it. You still got 20 years ahead of you of construction.
Well, I mean,
Not if you can help it.
you look at the trades that are dying out and the trades that are coming in.
That's the big question because you guys, your majority of trades are in their 50s, right?
Yeah.
Correct me?
Yeah.
So in the next 10, 15 years, your trade landscape is literally going to change.
So I said to Dad, I remember I said this to you, I think you got about
5 years.
10 years.
No, I think he said 5.
Did I-
5 years.
To get this, to make some dough, get into a good place, because like, who are we going to find?
Like you're going to have to train or meet or source or...
Well, you're gonna have to vet,
Right.
right? And that's the hardest part, right? You're vetting at a client's expense. Sometimes that's a pretty negative outcome,
Yeah.
right? So I mean, you got a plumber who comes in and he doesn't glue some of his elbows. You got hundreds of thousands of dollars in
damage.
finishes,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden somebody flushes a shit and it's coming out through the walls and through the backsplash and all the millwork, and you're going, wow, maybe I shouldn't use that guy. Like,
Yeah.
so
I had a
how
guy...
do you vet them?
I had a framer reach out to me that was on the show. Actually, Jesse Barbosa, he was on the show, and he was asking me, I need to hire anybody. Know anybody? I need to hire. I'm ready to hire. I'm having a hard time.
Framer?
A framer. I thought it was he needs crews, right? So he's telling me 1 to 5. He thought it was a 1 to 5. So you find 5 bad apples and you'll possibly find one good. And he's actually going through those 5 and he's getting to 30 to 1.
Jesus.
Oh,
Wow.
yeah. I would say 10 to 1. I would have to say
That's
10
a
to
full-time
1.
job for you, Dan, to vet.
Yeah.
I'm telling you that right now, all these younger guys, even older guys, I think that they know everything. They're not really delivering what you are expecting them to deliver.
I just went through an experience last weekend with a demolition on my own house. And the guy showed up on the Thursday. He says, hey, man, I want your business. I've been following you guys for years. I'm dying. This is a great opportunity for me. I said, okay. So he came in Friday. He was there. 3 guys, had all his stuff. I'll make this a quick story. I spent the entire weekend chasing him. He left. Like aliens picked him up. Chainsaws, sawzalls, cords,
He
lights,
left all the
everything.
gear?
Everything.
Yeah, one of our guys went there to put up safety rails. He goes, "Hey man, aren't we supposed to? You got demo guys here?" I'm like, "I should. Where are they?" He's like, "I don't know." So the guy says, "I'll be back Saturday," and I'm like, he goes, "All my equipment's there," and I'm like, "It's not worth what I already paid you in whole." Anyways, I spent my entire weekend chasing him. It went into Monday. I had to cancel all the Monday's excavators, the bins, the dump trucks, everything, because this guy just shit the bed left, right, and center. At the end, I ended up paying more money, and I got another guy to come in. This is the guy that wanted our business.
So
Have you
bad.
found him yet? Is he still MIA?
The job's done. It was like he'll just
Okay.
never come back. Like he'll never get our work. And he Instagrammed my site, my own house. My wife's phone started blowing up because people knew him and they were like, "Why he's not Caruk Hall material? Why is he on a Caruk Hall job? We know this guy." And I'm like, "Oh, okay, that text would have been helpful 48 hours ago." But and you know what? I go at things with an honest foot forward. Like he even said he wanted some cash for it, and he says, "Give me first when in the morning and at the end of the day." I said, "I don't have time in my day. Here's the whole thing." And he just kind of looked at me and he was like, "Well," and I said, "Well, I'm going to trust you first. If you sting me, then I'm stung and you're never going to come back. I can't walk around checking my back every 2 seconds because you're not going to be able to move forward that way, right?"
It's true.
If that's a sign of the trades that are coming in,
Yeah.
Jim's 100% right. Like it is shit on a stick. Like it sucks, the trades that are out there.
Is it that stupid argument that they should be paid more? You're not offering enough? I don't think it's that personally.
Look, you know what? Our guys make great money. The trades make great money. I think, we were having that discussion today, I think some of our trades are getting a little cocky and they're asking too much. We're going to start shopping them now.
That's when you guys do a post like I do, and I go, "Listen, guys, I'm opening up my whole pool of trades, and I'm looking to work with new people." And so everybody that's currently thinking that they get the job automatically because it's Manny, all of a sudden you might not get the job automatically, and maybe you got to step up now. You're right.
Most of our trades, I wouldn't trade for anybody else, right?
But they're
there's
getting up there in age, and they're going to be leaving the business.
right.
And some of the guys are busy as well, and they're pricing accordingly, right?
Right.
Like if it has to be worth their while to do it, and they're going to price high. Should we carry that price or not squeeze them in the rush of closing a tender on a deadline to get a job and impress a client on a timely manner turnover? And sometimes we may not get the job because we carried that trade's price. So, should they get cocky, it's going to reflect our bottom line at the end of the day. And if we don't have the work, well, neither do they.
Because you can't transfer that cockiness to the client.
No.
It's not in you guys. It's not the right thing to do.
No. And that's what I'm saying. I think there has to be a loyalty somewhere, right? And I would say 80% of our trades are pretty loyal. And then they're, if we go back and say, "Look, we need you to drop this, we really want the job," they do it. But there's a couple new ones right now, younger,
When you say younger, 20s or 30s?
30s,
30s, eh?
that are, I just find their prices are too much.
Really, huh?
And then you get, guys that we used to deal with. The thing is, I find I've found over the years that you have your trades, you have your moment with some of your trades where you say, "Fuck you, you know what, you
It's true.
messed up, you didn't come back and fix it, off you go." And you don't talk to them for a year or so. Then they come back. "Okay, I'm sorry, look, that," and you continue on, and everything's great. We've talked about this before, that I feel that these tradesmen that are in their 30s haven't got to that point yet. They haven't been thrown to the side. This is really the first thing they've ever been into, like a recession. But it's not even a recession. It's
To shake
something-
things up.
Right.
Yeah. But it's not. It hasn't.
And it's not shaking anything
No.
up.
Everyone's
It's-
still making a lot of money.
Everybody is still busy. Unfortunately, I think there needs to be a recession. Not that I want one, But there needs to be a recession to shake up these younger guys that say, hey, you know what? There's no work. Sorry.
Maybe
you can't just, younger guys are working for you. Oh, you know what? You're not giving me an extra $2 an hour. I'm going to go to the other guy because he's going to do it. So they just jump ship right away. There's no loyalty with these guys.
For $2-3.
Right. But you get our guys are all 50 plus, like they're not going anywhere. We give them raises and they don't even know they're getting a raise. Like we gave one guy a raise and it took him 2 months. Dan goes, dude, like, is there no thanks? He go, for what? He goes, we gave you a raise 2 months ago. He goes, oh, really? He goes, I just give the check to my wife.
So for like 2 months, you guys were waiting for him to like, hey,
not
geez,
really.
thanks so much.
Came in passing or something.
Because we didn't even ask him. I said, let's give a raise, right?
Yeah. Because you're seeing that he's actually working and he's hungry and he's doing it and he's providing.
You know what? They get up, they're on the site at 7. This is what they do. And they get up at 7 and they leave at 4.
It also works with a lot of our guys. It's on an honor system, right? I mean, they could fuck the dog all day, and I mean, it'll take us a month to
figure it out.
figure it out when we realize, the construction schedule is failing, and we'll know why. But our loyalty is to them, and their loyalty is also to us. I mean, we had a guy that left 2 years ago over a dollar value. He came back recently for a lesser dollar value than we were offering him 2 years ago.
Isn't that funny how that works?
It's like the grass isn't always greener.
That's karma
saying.
construction.
Grass isn't always greener.
Grass isn't always greener. Yeah.
On the other side, whatever it is. The MDF isn't browner on the other side.
But why do you guys think, what is the number one reason why guys get out of the business?
I think it's like Terry said,
You had that one bad experience?
No, and Terry has said he's gotten to know me over the years, and like he says, I don't know, you have a thick skin to do this. I can handle a lot of shit. I like what I do. I don't usually sweat the small stuff, so I can get through the bullshit. So that's why I'm still in it.
Are you the opposite, Dan?
I sweat everything.
So it's like a yin yang here, right?
Right. Yeah.
No, and you have to pick your battles. I mean, we discussed it earlier about that 30, 40 grand, if it's on the table and if worth that crack. And sometimes, the downside is you can spend 2 years with a client. That 30 grand, they will never speak highly of you should that last 30 grand go sideways. That's on the table up for discussion, right? Even if you walk away at 15 grand, they're still going to go, yeah, you know what? I don't get the warm and fuzzies with it. Yet you kissed their ass, you gave them everything you wanted for 2 years, barely made money, and then swallowed an extra $15,000 at the 11th hour. But should they feel that wasn't a positive outcome for them, they will never recommend you. They won't speak highly of you.
I read somewhere recently that if you have a positive experience with a contractor, a client will tell 3 other people about the positive experience. If you have a negative experience with a contractor, a client will talk to 30 other people about the negative experience.
It's true.
And we all know there's 3 sides to every story. So it could be bad client, it could be bad contractor, it could be both are lying, and we don't know what the truth is, right? There's always 3 versions of it.
I mean, that's the shit thing about our business again. And that's, going back to when we did Real Renos. That was the only way. That's the reason I did it. I said, look, there's my side and there's the client side. I'm not always going to be right, and they're not always going to be right. So the whole idea behind that show was a reality check for anybody getting in to a renovation. Understand it. It doesn't get done in 2 weeks. It doesn't happen in 30 minutes. And there are going to be ups and downs, and you're going to be pissed off at me, and I'm going to be pissed off at you. That is the reality of a renovation or a build, period. And if you can get through that and understand that, usually the job will go okay. But there are the 1 or 2 jobs that go sideways, and it's just the business.
But then there's the 1 or 2 jobs that are absolutely perfect, and clients are really good and appreciative, and those are good moments, warm and fuzzy moments.
You know what? I think out of all our projects, we've had one shitty moment, like one shitty client. And then we've had a couple other clients that challenging, but our projects,
positive outcome. Yeah.
But positive outcome.
Yeah.
You guys stepped up and took care of it.
Well, I mean, they pushed hard, right? And grind you. But hey, you know what? They're paying a lot of money. Mm-hmm. We got to give them what they expect.
So Terry, I know off mic you were saying that you don't understand why we do what we do. You don't get it. The pain that we go through.
Yeah, some people just love pain, I guess. I don't know. It's
Sucker.
you just haven't had your moment yet, I guess.
No, I've had it.
Or like Jim said, thick skin, thin skin, whatever it is. No, I find that to what Jim was saying, it's so true. He's got this kind of a knack, and he rolls along with it, and he loves seems to like the back and forth. And to me, I just want to get it done and get the hell out. And go to the next one, and just focus, just really get in there, and not that you guys aren't, but I guess I'm more, I don't know if it's single-minded or whatever. I just wanted to get down to the actual work, and I find interruptions would really, whatever it would be, especially with customers bugging you about something. It's like buzz off, It's
Well, now also,
let me get it
I can
done,
get this
right?
done. I want to get it done, and I'm here. I'll get it done. I'm
Text
so driven to
messages
finish.
at 10:30 at night that
Right.
make you not sleep.
Oh, you reply to those?
I
ignore them,
but I see them.
But I get up at 4 a.m. and I reply to them at that time.
Well, yeah.
I'll give it back to them, right?
Absolutely. Hey, saw your message.
4 o'clock,
Feel free to
ding.
call.
Wow. See, in my time, I got out of it in the mid
So you didn't have
90s, so we didn't have
texting.
texting. Really, when I think
you had
about
$1.50 a minute cell phone charge is what you had.
And an arm this big to hold the phone up.
The battery that you were carrying with it. Yeah, I mean, I guess we got to have thick skin, but I'm always interested that I have conversations with every trade on site, and I find that the younger they are, the more they want to get out of it. They talk a lot about getting out of it or how to get out of it. They're trying to figure out, how do I make more money or get out of it? Or how do I get to a certain level where I can get out of it? That's what they're thinking about. And I think the number one thing that a lot of trades talk about is it's the client factor. It's that, the personality thing. Try to clash.
Okay, so let's just think about that for a sec. You got the younger contractors dealing with their own kind.
It's true, because that's the majority of our clientele now.
They're getting younger.
They're getting younger and younger.
And they got money,
They got divorced parents and money.
right?
Right.
Yeah, they got the boomers' money, and
Yeah.
millennials we created them, or you and I did.
Yeah, and maybe with these contractors that want to get out of it or talk about getting out of it, they're looking. I don't think they're being realistic. It's the steady and that wins the day. I think, and you've got to do the time, and it'll come. And you don't chase the money. You do the work.
Yeah.
The money comes as a result.
But the majority of them chase the money.
Yeah,
It's
wrong.
true, and
it's so wrong.
And you'll see they won't be successful.
No, people, you can see it. They smell it, and you're done right away. That's my belief. And the money does come on its own. Just do the right thing. It's
always been.
It's a natural.
It's always how I've worked. I've never chased the money. Mm-hmm. Chase the job.
But you got to like what you're doing too. You got to
Sure.
believe you got to believe, and you have to like what you're doing. I think.
No, 100%. I mean, I love seeing the final product.
And probably also not being overly indebted, or you know what I mean. Living beyond your means, where you really need the money, you need the hit.
But that's that whole generation. I don't want to make it into a whole millennial talk, but that's that whole generation, right?
Yeah.
They're more interested in knowing what's going to happen to me in 5 years. Mm-hmm. Where am I going to be at 5 years from now in my construction trade?
Isn't there an app for that?
Someone is devising it right now, putting it all together. Where will you be on the construction site 5 years from
They
now?
can tell you what you're going to look like in 5 years.
Just stand on this scale.
Show me my financial
Based on the
forecast.
drugs that are inside of you, we can tell you that you'll be here in 5 years,
That's
right?
hilarious.
I wonder if us older guys will get on there and see what happens.
It's not an easy gig. I mean, I think construction in itself, on the fundamentals of construction and the knowledge you have to have in order to do it right, stand the test of time, is a feat in itself.
Yeah.
Then you got the whole marketing aspect. Then you've got the sales aspect. Then you've got the accounting aspect. Then you've got the project management aspect. And then there's just running a business in general. both Jim and I are construction first, business second. I mean, I went to school and took the whole project management programs and so forth, but I don't have an MBA. I don't have anything that's going to tell me, to shelf a company here and do this and do this. And that's also part of the huge struggle. And so I think some of these younger guys, when they see, Jim and I had some pretty pimp cars recently. When COVID hit, we got a little nervous and we got rid of them. And, people see us driving around in the nice cars, and it created a persona which could have been detrimental for us, where clients might be like, no, sorry, they're driving too nice of a car. Their car's better than ours. Well, why can't we drive a nice car? The clients work hard, we work hard, and we should enjoy life. I always had a half-decent car, and being partners with Jim, he was always like, brother, enjoy your life. Live in the now. Live in the now, man. You can't take it with you. Just, come on. You deserve it. And I was like, you know what? Yeah, I do.
You know what? That's a post right there. Social media, man.
Right,
Just share that.
But it carried a positive and a negative. And a lot of people just, if I don't hear, if I had your money every day from somebody, and I'm thinking, go look at my bank account.
Yeah.
There's a bracket on either side of it, and you can't not know what that means. But yet it's the.
But why aren't we allowed to buy something nice?
Well, but I'm still talking so the younger generation, they see that and they want it and they think it comes easy.
It doesn't.
And it doesn't. If I don't do 70-hour weeks.
Yeah.
I seldomly come in here on the weekends to catch up just on shit, which I'm walking away from my family life on the weekends to commit to the business, to grow the business, and to just stay on top of everything that is entailed. And there's just so much. And there's not enough time in the day.
Have you guys had that moment where you're actually trying to figure out how many hours you're actually putting into a project, and the guy at McDonald's is making more money than you?
Yeah, probably. I've had a few.
That's the scary part.
I might have even referenced that today, actually.
That's pretty scary, but that's true. The amount of hours that we give up because of waking, like Texas at 10:30. Mm-hmm. Question here, question there, meeting, site.
It's 24/7. It's not even that. Like, I don't know if you came in early, you saw the binders out and everything else.
Oh, I saw the 10 Commandments there.
Just to price the job, like we're into 100 hours.
Yeah.
50 to 100 hours.
You hadn't even gotten the job.
That's a killer.
And that's
a killer.
You put a number to it, even if you put $50 an hour, which is cheap. That's $5,000.
But they won't pay that.
No.
Or if you try to bill them that.
Yeah, like the free estimates, the free quotes. How can you actually get away? There's guys that said, we charge for our quotes. Yeah, sure you do.
No way.
Yeah.
You tell yourself that you charge, but the reality is that you actually are doing it for free to get the job.
You do.
We all do that.
Yeah.
Like we have a commercial division within our corporate structure, and it is handled totally different than the residential side. There was last year we had an architect firm call us and say, "How much would you charge to value engineer these drawings and put a tender together?" I go, "Fuck, I don't know. No one's ever asked me that question." I said 10 grand. They went, "Okay. How quickly can we have it?" I said, "Our usual free 2-week turnover time." I didn't say that, but I was thinking it. And we got it, right? And I just was like, "Jim, this is where we gotta go. New model. We gotta run down this road as fast as we can." And the commercial is different, and it is set up that your time is a little bit more valuable, and they know that you're gonna bill for site supervision, and you're going to also put your percentage on site supervision, which is the way every residential job should be, but clients can't bite that bullet. And I guess your time is more respected on the commercial side of things, and it's not as personal. People don't know where the money really is coming from.
I think
it's corporate money. Right?
I think it comes down to the price of admission.
Corporate.
Residential versus commercial, right?
Time, money, and emotion is residential.
Right, yeah.
And that's what you're dealing with.
Yeah. Pickup truck and a hammer.
Right? Commercial, get the doors open so we can start making money. That's how it really works.
Well, and it's pre-taxed money
Right.
typically, right? So I mean,
There's
in
a
the
lot of overhead
residential
attached to that coin that's being given to you.
There is.
Yeah.
There is.
Right.
And you can charge for it.
Yes.
And I guess the advantage is I forget what I was saying. It's the residential is the after-tax dollars. It's
Right.
the clients are watching it. They're watching their lines of credit go down or up, however you want to phrase it, and all of a sudden the juice is kicking in, and they're at $1 million on an LC. They're here on top of
And they're
their
freaking.
kids,
Yeah.
on top of the kids, and then there's design issues where we're putting guns to their head, going, "Listen, you got to tell me if you want the baseboard tied in right here because you're going to live with this." And it's really stressful, and I mean, I would say in our position, we're marriage counselors, we're psychiatrists,
Yeah.
we have to ground clients on a regular
But none of us
basis.
have an MBA in any of those professions.
No.
Zero.
But we're asked to speak on that behalf.
This is one of that's part of the reason I got out. Yeah, the biggest. Really.
Absolutely.
But you got into a business, Terry, where you were kind of in and out. So you got into a trade that you got in and out
That's
with a
right.
certain dollar value.
Superman.
Basically,
Savior.
you saved the day,
yeah.
but you never had clients come up to you and go, "Wait a minute, you were just here for a half hour and I'm paying you X amount, and that means you're making what?"
Yeah,
This
I
is-
mean that happens too. But at the same time, I mean, in a situation you've got sewage coming up through a drain, and there's a lot.
I'll
of,
pay
generally a
whatever
lot
to
of
get that
panic,
shit
and
outta
they
here.
Are, well, you know what? They're just they're just so happy to have it looked after quickly. Without
Here's
mess
my
and
credit
fuss.
card. Thank you.
And that's the beauty of it. You're in and you're out. There's no time to even think. Getting back to construction, though, the bigger the job, the longer you're there, the more you're dealing with, and the more the relationship,
either goes south
yeah.
or goes
But then-
north.
but then-
grows or
then
falters
you-
or whatever you want.
Right. Then
know?
you throw a designer into the mix, so it's even longer.
Is that a ready mix?
What?
What do you mean ready mix?
Never mind. We have some designers listening. Don't worry about it. I'm poking fun. That's all I am.
Yeah, no, and I'm not saying we don't need designers. We do, but
Get on board.
it takes. They're getting their $140, $250 an hour. We're standing there getting nothing.
Right beside
It
them.
is true, huh?
Yeah.
I remember I leaned over on one of our clients. We finished them last year, and we were in a meeting. And I leaned over to her and I said, "If I was your lawyer, I'd be getting paid right now." She goes, "Oh yeah," and it went like right over her head. And I'm thinking, that didn't go the way I wanted it to. I wanted her to acknowledge the fact that I'm standing there for 3 hours, freezing my ass off, as I would feel free.
Yeah.
It's not free. in
It's
their
always
head.
like, "Are you
They're paying
available
you.
for a site meeting? Can you come to a site
Yeah.
meeting and be there for a couple of hours?"
Don't
Or-
bring the designer because she charges.
Yes, but
You know?
you're
Yeah,
there for
sure.
free, so then you can be there.
I mean, we even have in our contract that was it $250?
$250 an hour. Yeah.
We've never done it. And nobody ever says anything about it. When they read the contract, they just breeze right over it.
Yeah. But if we ever did charge, it would be
Oh,
offensive.
It'll get noticed.
Yeah, it'd be
Yeah,
offensive.
we would be shit on.
I mean, I always look at it, and Caruk Hall, our business, may have a pristine approach to it, and I'm not sure why, because I think we're always in the middle on price point wise. We're definitely never the lowest, but we're also not always the highest. We're usually right down the middle, and I always tell clients it's the triangle. So there's 3 points on a triangle. There's price, there's service, and there's quality. I said you can have 2. Pick them. So if
Do
you
they
want-
ever pick two?
They want all 3.
They picked
but,
2.5.
That was the mid '90s. You don't get that anymore. I mean, now you got to be a little selective. And I mean, it's the same as what we were just talking about Terry's emergency service, right? I mean, it's you're there, your service. Right? You're
Done.
there the next day or within the hour, even
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah.
And
Get there
that
fast.
you got the service, and you're getting the quality, but you're not going to get the price. So. No offense to how you were billing or anything,
Right.
but I'm just saying it comes at a cost. What do you want? We could be there next year, and you're going to get a good price, but you're not going to get the service, and you'll still get the quality when it's done.
It's true.
So it's all it comes down.
two.
A Mason taught me that one a long time ago, about 5 years ago. He taught me that one. He says, "Oh, it's all about the triangle, Dan." I go, "What's
Because we were bitching about its price, right?
I was telling him about the price, and he goes, "You asked me to be here. I'm here. You're getting the quality, but you're not getting the price, and you're going to pay out of your ass for it." I was like, "Oh, that makes sense.
Where did he learn that from?
I don't know.
He got it from somebody.
The Mason ring or something. Who knows?
So what do we do about this void? We want more people to come into this industry. More people are getting out of this industry. There's reasons for leaving, staying.
Got to get it back into schools, man.
Yeah. Get
Back
them
in
early.
grade 7 and 8,
Get
where
them
I
early.
started. Industrial arts. Call it what you want, but that's
Yeah.
you got to get the kids working with their hands when they're young, so that they like it. Then they can go to a tech school or whatever. And I think it's up to parents too. They can't, like, if your kid's not going to be a
Doctor.
scholar or
Yeah.
doctor, and he loves working with his hands, let him do it. Like, there's no reason like he's not going to do well. He will do well. Like, look what we pay these guys. They all make 6 digits. So there's nothing wrong
It's a
with
good
that.
living.
It's a good living.
How did
And
you-
if you got the drive, and then you got a little entrepreneurial spirit in yourself, go start your own and be like us later and start bitching. But
Go through your ups, go through your downs.
Manny, you're a numbers guy. What's the percentage on the population that make over 100,000 a year?
I have no idea about that.
Oh, I thought you'd have that.
I
in your
wouldn't
back
have that. That's a
pocket.
different show. I don't have stats on everything here. Do you think I have a
at
whole
one
team
time
here?
it was 10%, right?
You mean the upper
yeah.
echelon of the country?
But
I think it's less than 10%.
Do you?
I mean,
I
the
think
one-
so.
Yeah.
No, hang on a sec. That is actually liquid or they're borrowing?
No, like, who makes an income
An
of
income,
100,000?
just an average income.
You guys saying are more than 10%?
I think it's less.
I think it's less, to be
Do you?
honest.
Yeah, I think it's less.
With everybody that we see and what they make, I think it's more.
I don't think so.
You can't look at debt. You cannot look at a debt ratio on that. But just their income alone, whether it's single family or not.
Right.
Yeah, I'd say it's.
I mean, I just heard about Monopoly's just introduced a millennial version. And actually on the packaging, it says, this game makes no sense to you people because you can't even afford to buy a house. That's how Monopoly's marketing that, right? So it's like where they make, I think that segment is actually overextended. So they may be making $100,000, but I think with how they live, it drops dramatically.
With not in their means. I'm
yeah,
sure.
yeah. So
I'm sure
are
there's
you still
people listening
factoring?
who are yelling the number at us right now?
Probably. But you guys think it's more than 10%? Terry, you think
I
it's
don't
more?
know. I
No, I don't know. 10% sounds fair, I guess.
Wasn't it back
so
in
that's
I-
3
I-
million. That's
I used to
3
know-
points, almost 4 million people.
Wasn't it back in the 80s? Like my day, it was like if you
Was
made
one-
$100,000, you were a really
You
wealthy
were
guy.
You were 1%.
The 1% of the population. So
Right.
you're saying that 30 years later, like everybody's making $100,000?
Maybe.
What does somebody here Google it?
We don't have a millennial with us.
Well, no. So you've got all these trades, right? Maybe these trades are making $100,000, but they have a lot of overhead.
Well, I'm just looking at what Jim's saying. I'm just trying to feed off of that. And you look at a lot of kids who are going to university. It costs the parents $250,000
It's insane.
per kid.
It's
I've
insane.
got numerous buddies that are in that position right now.
What's it cost for trade school? Anybody know here? Conestoga or any like George Brown? What does it cost to do a 5-year?
I don't know.
It's not $100,000.
No, God, no.
No, it's not,
I think
right?
it's
But you come out-
It's like 15,000.
And you can get a job that will, in a couple of years, get you to $100,000.
Well, I know when I went to trade school, it was through I was with the union. I went through the union, and it didn't cost me anything.
Wow.
I did my 3 basic, intermediate, and advanced, got my stuff, did my
I think
hours.
the George
was out.
Brown one is about $8,000 a year.
Is it?
For 4 years or
to
3 years?
8 to 12 a year, I believe, and 12 on the high side for 4 years.
And that's not a lot of money for a job that you're going to get that's probably going to start you, what, at 50, 60?
Yeah. So
Was that
50,000.
the course that you took?
Yeah, I was already working for a few years, so I advanced the first couple of years of
Right.
it. They wanted to put me right in the last year, and I said, "Fuck, I haven't been to school in 12 years. I'm going to third year college.
Did you walk in and you're like, are you our prof? What's
Oh, yeah,
going on
nobody,
here?
Nobody liked
That
me,
was
too.
next.
They were all together for 2 years, and they're like, "Who's this guy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, that's right." But no, I mean, if for $40,000, you can get a kid to college in trade school, and tentatively they're going to be, if in the union, they're going to be pulling shy of 100.
Yeah.
And in non-union and working extra hours, if the government doesn't take all of it, I mean, you're tentatively grossing $100,000 a year. You can't go. A university is $250,000 to $300,000,
Yeah.
and you're walking in like my brother's in finance, and I mean they're paying these kids like under 20 grand a year and just treating them like a
When they
dog's
get out?
breakfast.
When
Yeah,
they get out
as-
and that's their
as a
first
startup,
job?
if they can get a job, yeah, they're bottom of the barrel. Wow. And I mean, so it just emphasizes and supports what you're saying about, going into trade school, and you're not going to be a doctor, and you might not have a legal background, and the patients or the parents don't have the
Right.
money to support their kids to have that education. Trade school's where it's at.
Yeah. I mean, look at a kid, plumber, electrician, whatever. He gets his trade, serves his time, decides to open up his business. Guy can make a ton of money.
I mean, when I saw my plumber, and he's done a few jobs for me, and I go to his house and I see a garage full of cars, like cars, lots
Right.
of cars, and a conversation about,
I
can
know
we,
some plumbers like that.
I'm wondering about plumbing, man. There's a lot of money in that. But he's like talking to me about, can we like break the slab here and put a lift and make it go down? And I'm like, you're a plumber, man. What's going on here? But there is money in there, right? So
Our plumber just bought a new Porsche GTS.
I love it because he came
Yeah.
up to me and he said, it's like taking candy from a baby, man, whenever I bill. They charge nice. Well, Terry knows.
He's not even a plumber.
But yeah, there is good money to
That
be.
was so long ago.
Yeah?
Yeah, so long ago.
How did you, Dan, how'd you get started? Where's your beginning?
In commercial. So I basically, I think it was almost 18, and I just started as a carpenter apprentice in the union, and just worked on commercial jobs, worked my way up the ladder, and did my carpentry full apprenticeship to journeyman, to lead hand, assistant super, assistant PM, and just climbed the corporate ladder. And then at one point, the company I was with, I had asked them for an equity position, and behind the scenes they were selling, and they couldn't disclose that to me, and they basically shut me down as an equity position. They were doing nothing under 50 million. And I said, let's do a small division. We'll, look at $5 million jobs. And they were like, we don't do $5 million jobs. I said, oh, fuck, excuse me. And then I went on my own, and I started on my own in commercial, and started building out a few spas in Hazelton Lanes and things. And then I ended up getting into residential, then went down to Bermuda for a couple of years, built down there with some, as an owner with a couple of other guys in a partnership. Came back and got back into residential, and then eventually Jim and I knew each other just through the industry and the magazine, and some public speaking engagements. And one day Jim and I were chatting. He says, "How's business, brother?" And I said, "Fuck, man." I go, "I don't know. One day I'm waving a checkered flag. The next day it's a white flag." I literally the next day, and then we just talked about partnering and thought we'd give it a shot. So 5 years later, here we are.
Nice. And
In
Jim,
our new office
the office
that we
is
had to
gorgeous.
tell everybody to get out a few months ago.
Yeah, it was a long climb for me. It was a really long climb.
Was it really?
Oh yeah. I mean, at one point I was like managing the Royal Ontario Museum, and I mean, you can't put an education to that. Like that's just we had the tallest freestanding crane in North America. We weren't spending $250,000 by 9 a.m. coffee. It was a quiet day. Like it was just huge construction. Like you had a pump truck pumping to a pump truck to pump to the pump truck to pump to the pour. legitimately, and that's like weeks of planning. One glitch and your
Shutting
whole day
Bloor
shot
Street
hundreds of thousands of dollars. I mean, it was incredible. And then now I'm talking to clients about their shoe mold, how it's going to tie in. So, I mean, totally different.
No, you don't. I do, because you can't do that.
I tell Jim, I say, Jim, you got to go, man. I can't do this. So it's the residential side's totally different. I mean, but it does have a gratification to it, because I mean, at the end of the day, there's families raising their children and starting a family and just living their life in something that you built for them. And it's,
And the
it's
community
awesome.
sees it. You're in the community. They
Yeah.
see you around, at the coffee shop or at the store, and you feel good, right?
Yeah.
Oh, there's that guy. You built some nice stuff. Oh, I like what you built there.
But that was like you,
That's
Jim.
not-
Like
that's-
I
that's
think you
rewarding.
were heavily community driven. Someone saw one build, and all of a sudden the community noticed.
Yeah, and then
Word got out.
dealt with a couple of real estate agents too, and then just when they sold my houses, that the quality was there, and then it just one thing went to another, right? So it's yeah, God, I've been here for a long time.
That brings up that point when I was talking to you on the phone earlier today, where I was like, I'm bidding on a job, and the client, it just turns out the client knows two current clients of mine. They just know each other. So my name kept on coming up. They're going, are we talking about the same Annie? And it was the same Annie. And then I had a conversation with her, and she was just saying, I only have one concern. I think your quality's too good.
We get this.
I get that too.
all the time.
And I didn't know how to react to that. I didn't know what to say to that. But I guess my translation of that was, we think that you might be too expensive for us.
Absolutely.
Exactly what it is.
That's exactly the translation, right? So now I have to bid. And then, Jim, you gave me a great suggestion, right? And now I have to bid it, and I got to kind of nurture it.
Yeah, you just say, look, you're saying something that we haven't even had a chance to bid on yet.
Yes.
Right? I remember, way back, like late 90s, I bought my first, 99 Mercedes, right? And I drove it to the clients because I didn't give a shit at that point. I said, I worked hard. I got this thing. Walked in and, I was dressed, in a golf, whatever, attire, or whatever you want to call it. And I walked in and it was the first thing that came out of the guy's mouth. He goes, oh, sorry, man.
Really?
I said, what do you mean sorry? He goes, I can just, I see what you drove in. I see how you're dressed. He goes, I can tell you right now that we can't afford you. I said, well, let me quote the job and then decide that. I ended up getting the job over his own buddy. He says, my buddy was more expensive than you. I said, well, there you go. And it was, it turned out to be a great job. But again, you can't go and, what's that? What am I looking for? You can't judge
a
the
book
book
by
by
its
its cover, right?
Yeah.
I mean, again, it was on when we first did the first year of the show. I had that Mercedes pulled
Yeah, I
up
remember
to get my last in our hood. Went to get my last paycheck, and I pulled up in this,
Eesh.
and she goes,
Eesh.
"Oh, so now I know how much contractors make."
Oh,
And she goes, "Is this where my check's going, to your car?" I go, "Yeah, it's going to my lease payment." But I said,
Perfect response.
but I said, why do you judge me about my car when you have two of them in your driveway? I said, am I not good enough to have this car? Are you better than me? But
She was quiet about it.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think I've ever gone to a client and if I see a really fancy car or a fancy home and I start thinking, oh, I gotta yank up this estimate a little higher now just because I think that they're wealthy.
You know what? No,
I've never done that.
We
I
don't
just think
do
they're
that.
over leveraged, and they can't afford it anyways. Our prices drop when we see that.
But we should have the right to. What if we made some smart investments or something? What if we actually worked really hard?
You've, like I said, had jokes about it, but I said, just live your life because you know what? I didn't do any of that for 25 years. I go, I'm afraid what people think. But then after a while, you know what? Work my ass off.
Yeah.
Why can't I have this? That's why I said, let's just go get the car.
Yeah.
If you want it, great, do it. So
Felt good for a bit.
it was good for a bit, but you got a family, so.
But don't the designers roll up in their fancy cars as well too?
Always. I mean, some design. And
Or even the engineers that roll up in their fancy cars as well and park right in front of the job site, right next to the fence.
Isn't that funny?
Yeah, the architects
it's
all
kind of
pull up in their
expected, no?
Jaguars and
Isn't it?
Mercedes, right?
I think it's hilarious. I find it really funny. You could almost figure out who's who by the way they park and what they drive and when they arrive on the job site.
Yeah.
No,
But we're not allowed to do that.
But we're not allowed as contractors. If we do it, then there's a stigma attached to us. What's going on? You're hosing us.
You're just a GC.
And we pitch.
You're not
you know
a
what?
designer.
That's exactly
You know?
what it is. You're just a GC.
So what? We should be just living and breathing out of our pickup trucks from 20 years ago. Is that what we should be doing?
Yeah. I mean, it was
what they
even
think.
yesterday, I went and pitched a project and went to someone's house, and I called her out at $500,000 for the reno that she wants. She goes, $500,000. Jesus. And I said, well, you're 1,600 square feet on the main floor. You're 1,600 on the top floor, 3,200. And I said, so, you want rip everything out, all load-bearing walls removed. We're going to have to new structure, new footings downstairs. You want 2 new bathrooms. You want a steam shower put in. You want all this stuff. And I said, even at 500, I go, you're 200 a square foot at best. Like that's like 200 a square, even you're like $1.80. That's not even realistic.
No.
At 180. And she says, well, I know that you're going to be the most expensive. And she started it on another sentence, and I said, "Whoa!
How do you know that?"
I said, "What makes you say that? Like, I've only given you a number of 180 a square foot, which is probably the cheapest in the GTA, and
In the country.
And she says,
low.
"Well, your website is spectacular." I
Oh,
said,
wow.
I said, "Thank you," and I said, "But why is that a bad thing, right?" And so, I said, this is the joy back to the partnership agreement where Jim and I can talk about this. Should I have my own sole proprietorship and I go home, I'm going to talk to my wife and go, I don't get it. Why? Like, I just don't understand. And I'd say, so the joy of the partnership is, I said, Jim, this is what went down. And I'm like, do we have to put shit jobs on our website to
It's like you're damned if you do and damned if you don't.
we have to stupefy what we take pride in and the craftsmanship and in our quality in order to now start closing jobs. I said, this is getting ridiculous.
Right.
We're going to price it.
See
I
what
don't know.
happens.
Yeah, I mean, and that style of project, I don't want to say anybody can do it, but you don't have to, like, it's a $500,000 reno. I don't want to sound conceited or anything, but I'm not frowning upon it. It's not a big job. It's not a small job, but it's not a $3 million build where, you have to be thinking 3 months in advance and have your administration, all your paperwork in place and finish selections and so forth. I mean, you can kind of fly by the seat of your pants and do the job. So our competitors on that would probably not have the overhead that we do and have the field support that we have to support as well, like all of our guys.
But then
and
also
so
the
forth,
experience
right?
that you guys bring to the table too. When something does
Christ.
go south,
Between Jim and I, we've got close to 75 years of construction.
isn't that construction
experience.
though? It's about how you guys react to a situation when something does happen. How to handle the situation.
You can handle it, right?
Yeah.
Well, that I think in your seasoned trades, I mean, the relationships you guys have with your
Right.
people, it's another level, really.
But
Yeah,
it's,
and
I've
that's
seen
the
the
first
stuff.
thing, and that's like, well, Dan was out looking at that job. I was out looking at another one, potential clients, and it's the first thing that I usually bring to the table is, look at, just so you know, we've been doing this for, Dan and I, we've got 70 years behind us together, but also our trades have been with us for 20, 25, some even 30 years.
That speaks
and
volumes.
I always throw
Especially
out,
this day and age.
right?
Yeah.
And I
Yeah,
said
with the revolving door.
that's got to be worth something. And I said, not only that, I said our finished carpenters are all above 50 years old.
I think it's more than it's got to be worth something. It says something.
Says
Who
something,
does
right?
that, right?
Right. So there's got with
Just
with
personalities. How do personalities stay together that long? Because construction is such an intimate industry that you can piss off people really easily.
but
you can get along
it's-
with people really easily.
It's taken that long to build the team,
Right?
Right.
100%.
That's synergy.
Yeah. And so that's where the value
plumber's
is.
got to get along with the heating guy. They got, the plumber's got to get along with the electrician. Sure, there's going to be little scraps here and there, but they all know each other and they can work it all out. I mean, this is what Dan was saying. You're bringing in a new trade. You just throw it. It's like you're throwing a new guy in, and then nobody gives a shit. We're going through that right now on a job where the client said, "Well, you know what? We don't want to use your guy on this. We don't want to use your guy on this." And it's a fucking nightmare. Now, they're not our trades, but they're on us. Okay, you're not keeping up to the schedule. I said, well, I can't because your guy's not finished yet.
Is it a little bit entertaining?
no.
So it is entertaining. Like,
Kill me now.
yeah, exactly. I just
Who needs that?
the neighbor came out at me today and started, look at this, look at. I said, look, you know what, man? This has nothing to do with me. They hired this guy. If you want to call the city on him, be my guest. I'll even give you the phone number. This guy is so shit.
It's like amateur hour.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Terrible.
just
Who needs
the new trades. Like, what was share one with you on a job today on a commercial project. there's acoustical paneling in a boardroom that needs to be done, and in commercial, on a lot of the architectural drawings, they come with pre-selected subtrades. So the architects have already talked to the owners, and they're pre-qualified, and the architects are recommending that this is the trade you're using. You don't actually get a choice; you're using them.
This is pre-qualified based on numbers?
Well, no, they might pre-tender
Okay.
prior to it going to a GC and stuff. And so I've never worked with this trade. He's an audio guy. They're a small company, and we had originally lined them up. And you know, in the commercial side of things, there's penalty clauses for delay claims.
Well, that's why I'm not in commercial, man.
Your ass is on
Performance
the
bond.
line, man. Like, it's not small to think about it. Like
Yeah.
even a $500,000 job could cost you $2 million at the end of the day, right? Like,
Yes.
and this job's not a huge job, but anyway, this trade, I've never dealt with them, and about 2 weeks ago we got a calendar invite for when he was telling me he was coming to the job. And I thought to myself, well, what the fuck is this? And it wasn't any time when I needed him. I needed him next week, and he's scheduling me in February and says that's my first available date. So now I ended up ripping him a new one, got what I needed, got the date out of him, and now what he just installed is the acoustical paneling around his speaker installation. Through the acoustical paneling, the panels are deficient. So that sucked, and now the panels have to be removed, and the guy who schedules me 6 months in advance, he has to come back and pull his stuff out and put it back in. I spoke to him today. He says, yeah, man, I told you February is my first available date. My contract's satisfied. I'm done. And you just want to just lose it.
Wow,
And, you know, should that be an audio company who Jim and I would have brought to the table?
No.
They'd bend over backwards.
Yeah.
They'd be there
Yeah.
on a Saturday night.
Yeah.
They would be there in 2 seconds. And like, that's the sales pitch, what Jim is talking about like, these guys will bend over backwards, and it makes our jobs smoother, less stressful, and you know what you're getting. I mean, how dare this guy tell me he can come in February to pull out his application, and he says I have to be paid in full, and I'll send you a change order. It has to be signed with a deposit on the change order.
Who is this
That's
guy?
what I call wagging.
That's commercial,
That's,
though.
that's
That's
wagging the dog. That's
Yeah.
what it is.
Yeah,
Tail
it's
wagging
just-
the dog.
just-
Unbelievable.
ignorant?
Yeah.
And
but that's being brought in by somebody else that we don't know, and
100%.
he knows
Yeah.
that.
But look at 5 years from now, back to the circle of discussion, these are the new trades that are going to be coming in and that we need to vet.
So what is
That's
your
gonna
vet-
impact our business.
What's that vetting process going to be like?
Awful. I mean, it's going to impact our business.
Like, what kind of questions are you going to ask these people? And even like,
Well, it's not even questions because they're all going to answer them the way you want. To
that's what I was going to
answer them.
say. Yeah.
So you put them on a site, and you're going to know within a day. Like,
But now he's
we
on
are-
that site. There's bills that have to be paid, right? Like, and then, so I mean, when Jim and I first started, Jim had his payment processes, and I had my ideas and stuff, and it took us, I would say, the better part of it, at least a year and a half,
Yeah.
to get the trades on board for our 30-day billing process. Right? Most of the guys, the caulking is still leaking out of the gun. And they're going, hey, man, can I have my
Well,
share?
that's how it
And
is.
I'm like, you haven't even left the site. I'm sorry. No, we have a 30-day process.
Put
And
the
they're like,
sausage away, all right?
"Oh,
You're
yeah."
not getting paid
And they
yet.
all would lean on to Jim. Jim says that I can. And I go, listen, sorry, there's a new sheriff in town. This is the way it is. But you have to understand in a corporate structure too, like our clients are paying us 30 days behind, right? So if we're paying a
Yeah.
trade within that 30-day window and we don't have the client's money yet, they don't have the billing, then we're putting it out of our own cash flow. And we should never be borrowing from Peter to pay Paul.
Yep.
And so, and that worked out really great. But again, like dealing with new trades, having them come in, I mean, just, you got the quality, you've got the communication aspect, and then on the billing side of things and the sequencing and how they're going to work with other trades. I mean, it's massive.
synergy. The synergy.
Massive.
You guys
That's
have
what
an
it comes
uphill
down to.
battle,
How
right?
do you qualify that? Right? How do you sit down and say, here, fill out this form, right? Like, they're
Yeah,
gonna
but the
fill
amount
it
of
out.
time that you guys are going to lose, and also production, vetting these people.
It's going to affect our brand.
The other day, my tile guy was tiling. He had a new guy hired, like working for him, and I saw this kid. And corner of my eye, I kid you not, for the first hour, I saw this kid on the phone all the time.
Oh.
And I was like, "What the fuck are you doing?" Right? And I would just look at the other guy that's working for the same tile guy, and I look at him, and you get that look, right? Like that look, like, who the fuck is this guy? And then all of a sudden, I just walked him in passing, and the owner of the company that's tiling was on a run. And he just tells the other guy, "Can you do me a favor and ask him to pick up a calling card because I'm almost out of minutes?" And I'm like, "Oh, today's going to be your last day."
And I gotta
Seriously,
wait, and I gotta sit right here and watch it
The
happen.
audacity to say, "Can you ask him to pick up a calling card because I'm almost out of
The
minutes?"
kid said this?
Said this to the other worker, and I overheard this, and I'm like, "Oh yeah, this is your last day."
Oh my God.
So you guys are going to have a very entertaining vetting process because I've gone through this before. It's like, it sucks, man.
Yeah.
You know, they're going to use their phone. I mean, we try to get them to use it on a break or at lunchtime. I mean, the kids we got right now, the kids, there's 23 and he's 19, 23, and then we got a guy that's 19 to start, and they're great.
They're not
actually-
addicted to the phones,
No.
Till late, yeah.
Wow.
Only after.
break and stuff like
Right.
that.
But they're willing to work. Like they're quick learners. They're actually pretty good. And they listen and they're eager. They just work. Like one of the kids went up north with Darren, our guy, to work on one of the projects up in Muskoka, and he couldn't wait to get up there and work. There are some that really love it, but I think there's less of them.
Yeah, there's more that just want
They
the quick
carry
buck.
carry the stereotype.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They totally carry.
They're in it for the wrong reasons.
And for the wrong reason.
But I'm pretty sure that all of us here at the table were never like that at that age. I don't get it. Like
No,
we were
I wasn't. No.
hardworking at that age. I was never of the mindset, I'm X amount of years on this planet, I want to be paid $1 or $2 more than that. I've never asked for more than what my age was. But that's what they're asking for these days.
In my apprenticeship days, knowing I wanted to climb the corporate ladder, and while I was climbing the corporate ladder, I would get paid my 37 and a half hours a week through Local 27, and I would never, ever put in an extra hour of my time. And I went in on weekends, and I busted my ass, and I never said a word about it. You didn't. It was insulting to do something like that.
Yeah.
And I mean, again, I'm 45. I started young. I'm just before the whole cell phone cusp that came in. I remember being on site and taking my first picture with a cell phone and going, "Holy fuck, this is going to save days." Like, this is incredible. Before you'd have to go back, put it on a SIM card, stick it in your computer, go to the fax machine and fax it over. I mean,
Take out the floppy disk.
and it's funny, like if you look at how fast high rise went up then, pre-cell phone, and you look at how fast high rise goes up now, I think it's actually, they're the same speed almost, might be about 10% better, but there's more complications with all the
Shit.
just with all the cell phones and the emails and the liabilities now and the availability to get a hold of everybody, and then everyone who doesn't want to take liability to pass the buck to the next guy over, and it's pretty remarkable. Like, if you think seeing the holes in the ground, then you're still 2 years, year and a half in the ground for a high rise, and you're another 12 to 18 months to get to the top. Hasn't changed. Kind of makes you wonder, right? Totally does. I think we got off track there a little bit, but
No, but
not
it
exactly.
does make sense. Yeah.
It does make sense. It should have evolved, but
one
it
would
hasn't.
think. Yeah, one would think. I mean, it has to a degree, but it's also just created more complications. Like, now it's just all about, well, did you CC so and so on the email, and did they reply? Did you
Everybody's
even get
covering their asses.
Did you get a read receipt that they even opened their email? You can't move forward until you legally have
Yeah,
a
but
read
the
receipt.
shit
It's
part
like,
of this whole thing now is everybody's got a phone. So when somebody calls you or texts you, they're waiting for you to respond. Like,
Right away.
Like, hey,
Right away.
you shouldn't be doing anything else but on this phone.
This is the only job on this planet right now.
Yeah.
That's not the case, though. You think, Jen, you see that coming into custom residential?
what's that?
That
The
whole
side?
technology kind of, because I've had so many clients who are like, let's do that whole Google Doc and just everybody get on board here and everything else. It's great and convenient for the clients, but it also becomes a nightmare for us.
I mean, I think it should To be honest, I think I really do. Like we've implemented a software system called Procore into our corporate structure, and a lot of the trades are struggling dramatically with it.
Was it benefiting you guys?
Yes and no. I mean, it will. In long term, it will. And clients can also adapt where they can chime in and add pictures, and those pictures can be circulated to the users on them. And I mean, it's certainly a more commercial approach, but you know who received. Like, you can't make shit up. Like, it's the backup and the documents are there to tell a story. And if a subtrade says, "Oh, I never got those drawings," it's no, yeah, you
It's
did.
there. You're lying.
Procore says you opened the email from the tender package. Well, I didn't know how to open it, but you just said you didn't get it. So hold on, which one is it? Like, we know you opened it. Yeah. And so I think we haven't implemented it
Fully.
well. We have, but we haven't implemented it to our clients.
Right.
And I think that's too invasive in custom residential. The clients are already maxed out on their decision making and their time and attention to detail above and beyond their regular jobs and their day-to-day routines.
Yeah.
It's too much. Now, some clients that we've had are militants, like breastfeeding, stirring a pot, talking on the phone, and drawing a picture with their big toe. Like, we've like clients that could handle it, no problem. But the average client, it's overwhelming, and it's not. I don't think it's a fair approach. And maybe we're not competitive, and there's other guys that are doing it in our industry. But I mean, we offer it, and we ask them if they're interested, and we pretty much don't even finish the sentence before they're like, no.
I mean, there's a lot of that
can't
software out there, and I find that the Achilles heel attached to any of those software are the trades.
Yeah, they struggle with it.
They struggle.
But the ones that have figured it out, that our office, like
They
got a
they
couple
see the
girls in our
benefit.
office who will give them a full tutorial, and they're like, oh my god, this is incredible, and they just like they have recognition overlap where the program will tell you when there's been a change in the drawings by itself, and it'll notify everybody attached to that drawing who's been invited to be on that job. And you'll get a notification, and it'll tell you the change right away, and then they could price it accordingly through Procore, and it comes in a spreadsheet. Like, it's pretty dope. Like, it is great. But I'd say the majority, I'd say we're not even at 50%. Like, 60% of our trades are scared shitless of it.
Because they're over 50.
Yeah, because they're over 50.
Well, 10 years ago, they probably didn't even have a smartphone.
No?
Yeah, guaranteed. Yeah.
Guaranteed they didn't have a smartphone. They were still flipping a Motorola.
Good point. Yeah.
Right? And how do I take a picture here? They're trying to
A
figure it out.
couple of our guys just hate the phone, period.
Oh, yeah, it's like a leash or something.
Yeah.
They're like, leave me alone. I'm on site right now working.
Yeah.
Well, we'll phone them, and I don't get an response for about 2 hours. I needed an answer like an hour and 45 minutes ago. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? He's like, well, you're paying me to work. So I'm working. And I'm like, don't get smart. Don't get smart, man. I need an answer. I need a dimension. I need whatever it is you need, right? Yeah, it's pretty humorous. Like, Terry, when did you get out exactly? What year was that?
About 93, 94.
So the world is a new world.
It's huge changes. I mean, the stuff you're talking about here, I'm just like, what?
You were a fax machine, man.
Oh,
Pager.
You have no interest in
pigeons. Carrier pigeon.
Terry, you have no interest in getting back in,
Hell no. Oh no.
and definitely would not
No.
recommend to get in.
He listens to me.
Do you have kids, Terry? I don't know.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, they're
So
have they
gotten
adults
in?
now? No, not at all. No. One's in a commercial real estate, and another one's a teacher, and the other one's in marketing. They're in their mid to late 20s.
We were
Yeah,
his first sale.
Oh,
This space.
Our office, that's right. Yeah. We broke his cherry.
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
And he's doing a good job. He's got some action.
Good for him.
He's really taking to it, that one. So, yeah, no. I always said to my kids, you go find what you like and do it. Don't do something just because like say family business thing. I would never want my kids to think that they needed to get involved with it because it was there. I told them this is this is my thing, my party. This is what I found that turns my crank, and it really works for me. And hopefully you'll go find your own thing. And if it happens, if in the end, I mean, I sold this plumbing business a couple of years ago now. If there really had been genuine interest from my kids that I saw without asking, you just know, then maybe something would have happened. But
it's got to be there. Like the person has to have the interest.
Yeah, you got to be there.
If you have to ask them, then
hey, listen, this is really good. You got to convince them. No, there's no convincing, I think, and that's how you get that. That's where you get the passion, and you're in the right thing, for yourself. And that being said, I mean, when I guess getting back into partnership things, I was a single proprietor, or as a corporation, I was never a single proprietor, but in all my businesses. But here I had somebody I hired after 2 years starting the business. 20 odd years later, he ended up buying it. We came to an arrangement.
So it was almost perfect. Kind of partnership.
Well, yeah, it was unofficially, but we had a great arrangement, and we built a relationship. And it was, this relationship grew as a result of the trust and time, actions, and we were both focused, and it worked. And another beautiful thing that I think is so important in partnership, and what's the word when one leaves?
Exit strategies.
Yeah, exit strategies. Yeah. It's really important to have, I think, what's helpful is to have an age difference between the partners.
Yeah.
In my case, it was basically a 10-year difference between myself and my VP, and who ran day to day, and it really worked that way. And he still had some energy.
Get up and go
left, right? As opposed to, say, if he had been my age, or we'd been equal age, it'd been a hard sell.
Yeah.
At least there, to sell to him, but it just worked out so well.
I think the one good thing I would say about the millennials in construction is that they do see the value of building a brand more so than from your generation, Jim, or from our generation. You know what I mean? Like I remember at one of your roundtables, there was a gentleman who stood up and he just said, like you just said, I'm a certain trade. My son's not interested in doing it. I don't know what's going to happen to my business. When I fold up shop, the business ends. But you sold your plumbing business, and other people sell their businesses, right? Mm-hmm. I think that the millennials now, they look at it, they start their trade, they do a brand, they build their brand, and then all of a sudden they start looking at it like, my brand's got value. I could actually potentially maybe sell this if I mentor somebody or I get involved with somebody. I can hand it off to them and sell my business, and then I can move on from there, try something else.
Yeah.
But you guys realize that, Dan and Jim, you guys, I don't know any other partnerships out there that are not family related. Like I'm active on social media, and a lot of the partnerships I see on social media are mostly family related. Two brothers, son and dad.
Well, I could be his son. I
mean, you guys can do the DNA test later on and figure that one out. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, I don't know any other company, or let's say you guys know, that have this kind of partnership, because I do see the value in it. I totally see the value in it. And just what you just said, Terry.
Well, I got to say, even though the fellow who bought my business, even though we weren't officially tied together as an official partnership, we were two strangers. I mean, he answered an ad. It was probably a year and a half into the business, and I needed to expand and create a plumbing division within a drain cleaning. It started as a drain cleaning waterproofing business. He answered the ad. We met at the Tim Hortons here down the street, and within a minute or two, I thought, this is the guy.
You guys got along.
As far as is coming on board as a plumber.
Feel. Yeah.
And it evolved. In 20 odd years, it just. He gave blood. He was tied right in as a partner. To this day, we're best of friends. We're very close, the families, and he's of Italian descent. I'm of Ukrainian descent. Here we're total different. 10 years spread, and yet we met, and we had this synergy, this trust, and which we still have, and it's been the most wonderful thing. I never saw that coming. I never thought it could be, to be honest with you. Again, it just took a life of its own through time and action, not talk. Time and action just kept showing itself, and we both were focused on the right thing. And if there was an issue, we'd bring it to each other, and it was always just bring it, whatever it is, good or you think it's good or bad.
It's a sounding
just
board.
Be open, and it's no cliche. It's so true.
Yeah.
And listen, I'll try my best to work it out. And in my case, it was a situation where I tried to treat him as a partner and tied him into the financials. He had full access to them. We had balance sheet, P&L every month. There it was, and there was open books, and that's what
I often wonder why a lot more guys are not doing the partnerships. Is it ego? Is it concern about my business isn't really big? I don't know. What is it?
Personally, I just think for myself, it would have been more challenges that I wanted. I didn't want. So here I did try to tie him in. It got to a point where I needed to do something to make him feel so, or make him a partner. But I thought, you know what? If I can treat him that way financially, and just let me run the reins, or officially run the reins, even though he did a lot of the decision making himself too. I mean, he proved himself to be a very able, capable person. So I gave him the reins as well. So we had this great relationship that just
Worked.
Yeah, it grew, and we bounce things off each other, just like they're saying here, they can bounce things off of each other. Here I could take time off because he would step up. He was a key person.
Yeah.
And so much so that he was deserved. He was a natural for the business. When it was time for me to leave, I realized that, you know what, he's got, I know where I am, I know where he is. And I want him to experience ultimate ownership now. And I said to him, and I think the advice I gave, we cut a deal. It was seamless pretty well. It was incredible how it went down. All the due diligences and all that happened, and even both lawyers were saying that they'd never really seen anything like this. But how easily it went. But I said to him, I says, listen, I know once you get in and it's yours officially, that you're going to find new ways and successes, and whatever you do, don't look back and think that you never, that you may feel guilty, or ever think that I'm thinking that, oh boy, you could have done that. Why don't you do that when I was in charge officially? But I said, and why I say this is because when you own something outright and it's your own, these juices percolate, these natural things come out of you. You can't describe it. I mean, I guess an analogy would be like, trying to explain to someone, what's it like to have a kid? Well, how do you explain it? It's not like having a dog. You just, you have one, you'll understand.
Got to experience.
You got to experience it, and the same thing with ownership to have it. And I know, anyway, it's just been wonderful. Really pleased with everything.
So you guys would definitely endorse a partnership, right?
Yeah.
So I mean,
Absolutely, yeah.
Is there anything that you would tell these younger guys that what they should be considering? And
Oh, you definitely got to know who you're getting into bed with, right? I mean, I think the great thing is, obviously there's an age difference, but also Dan's experience just in commercial that brings that to the table. And then, mine is, I started in commercial, but basically have done residential all my life. So, I'm learning from him, he's learning from me. So, it works, right? There's days when, I'm pissed off and I need an amp up, and he'll amp me up, and I'll go in.
I've never seen Jim pissed off.
Like, it's rare.
How does that look? Like, what is that? Have you seen it?
Pinky finger twitches.
So look for the pinky finger.
Yeah.
But it also helps to, I think a lot of guys in the partnerships approach, they're fearful of giving up half.
Yeah.
That's probably the biggest fear that they have. But you also have to look at it that you're also sharing the negative, right? So when something does go sideways, it's not all on you. Jim and I both made mistakes over the years, and Jim's even come to me. There was one not long ago. He says, "Brother, this is on me." I said, fuck it is. No. We share this, man. Yeah. This is on me too. And if I did it, I'd expect the same answer from him. So. And it also gives you, with that said, knowing, I guess I don't know, how do you phrase it, sharing the negative. With that said, it gives you the confidence to also go out and be able to do more. And because you know that you've got a fallback. And I think that's one of the...
almost got your back.
Yeah. I think that's one of the awesome things about partnerships that I would always recommend. Like I said at the beginning of this, like I would, if Jim decided to get out or for whatever reason, I would probably look for another partner in business because it feels right. It's nice. It's a good feeling. You can't do it on your own.
It's hard.
It's too much.
Yeah.
Too much out there. Like all the things that we described, the marketing and the sales and everything. Like it's just one guy.
Can't do it all.
You know what? Good on you if you can, but you're probably not enjoying your life too much, man.
But Jim, you did it for 30 years before you did a partnership.
But Google and stuff wasn't around and everything
It's a
else.
different age now.
Yeah. I mean, you know what?
Those damn reno shows.
Those damn Reno shows, right? I would say everything.
We won't get into that world.
After I turned 50, I think things were good. I mean, yeah, the Crazy Show was out and everything else. It was good, but I already had my brand done, and I was making great money, a lot of great jobs, and then the show came along. Did it help? Yeah. And that's, one of the reasons why I did it too, because of marketing, but that's 20 years ago. So
Time has
what
changed.
kind of marketing was that back then?
Mm-hmm.
But it helped and, gave me a little more recognition. But I was already on my way before Real Renos came along. I was doing really well and, enjoying everything, and the only thing was I couldn't take off for any huge length of time. I'd go for 7 days, but I always have to pick up a phone.
So
or
I'm
do
only good for
something.
vacations. Is that
You're
what
only good for vacations.
and vice versa, right?
Yeah. So I mean, we're hopefully one day we'll be able to take a bike trip together, but then we leave everything alone. So I don't know.
You ride, Dan?
Yeah.
What do you got?
I'm a new rider.
Oh, okay. How new?
Like 2-3 years.
Ah, that's not good.
Yeah, but he's riding the bat bike.
Yeah. It's a big custom slow ride.
Crazy ass.
Oh, is that
thing.
what you got?
Sidearm 280 on the back.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a showstopper.
How long is it? About 20 feet?
9 foot.
Oh yeah, he's down at the lights and he's just pulling up.
The rear wheel's at the back of the intersection and the front wheel's at the other end of the intersection.
Yeah, if he gets stuck, he blocks the whole intersection off.
What's the turning radius on that baby?
Pretty wide.
It's big.
It's a long reach around.
My Sprinter could probably turn better than that thing.
Yeah, probably.
I remember when he first took it, I was watching him make a right turn right into the left lane.
Now better. I could get it.
Sounds like he needs, the old days they had those old fire trucks and like it's
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the back. The back steering.
That's kind of what it's like. Yeah.
All right, this has been lots of fun, man. This is I totally enjoyed this one, man. A lot of interesting ideas
you very
came up,
much.
and hopefully the kids are listening and trying to figure out what to do or how to do it.
I think, just going back to we were talking earlier about how much information like on Procore and stuff. I just don't think, and you said it, like, our clients don't need to know everything. Like when I say the small stuff, they don't need to know the small stuff that's going wrong and everything else. Like we'll
Why
deal
they
with
hire
it.
us.
Let
They
us
would
deal
panic
with it.
on a second by second basis if they
Oh, God.
knew everything.
Oh, yeah.
But you guys are seasoned enough to handle everything. Like if
Just
something
like it's
happens,
not a big deal, right?
Yeah.
They think it's a big deal, but it's not a big deal to us. It's an everyday thing, right?
Yeah. Numerous times we've had clients like, how are you not worried or freaking out about this? And you go, I am. I just know also how to fix it.
how to handle it.
And it will get fixed.
Yeah.
At whose cost? Probably yours. You won't know about it, but that's another show.
Are they always yelling? Is that at whose cost?
My middle name is Houdini.
It's funny.
That's too funny. Okay, so I got last segment here, which Jim knows about this. So it's 12 questions of construction.
Do we sing an exit?
No, there's no
no,
sing
sorry.
an exit song. So I'll ask you guys these 12 questions, and you guys there's no right or wrong.
D.
All above.
What's your favorite construction word?
Cantilevered.
That's actually a good word. I do like
Heard
that.
that one yet?
Terry?
Fuck.
You're
pretty
beating
much
me.
everybody.
That's question number 5. What is your least favorite construction word?
I'd say receivables.
I'm not paying.
Oh, yeah.
What turns you on in construction?
Growth.
Seeing it built.
Process.
Yeah. In the finished product, I love.
What turns you off in construction?
Lack of progress.
Yeah, hurdles. People holding me back from getting it done.
You already answered this one, Terry. What's your favorite curse word or in a phrase?
I like a lot of mercy. Lot of mercy.
What is your favorite vehicle, car, bike, whatever?
Well, probably my bike
Okay.
Ford GT.
and Terry's car.
Ford GT. What is your least favorite vehicle, car, bike?
Probably the pickup truck I'm in right now.
Yeah, I was going to say, fuck.
You guys don't like it?
I don't like it.
It's an F something.
Yeah.
I know, but we had such a cool one before.
So
even though
what
it's
happened to
supposed
this
be the
one?
same. Oh,
What happened to this one?
We just, again, we got rid of a bunch of vehicles at pre-COVID, and we got nervous not knowing where the economy was going to go. We just downsized, put in penalties from the leases, and got new baseline vehicles. So, and then there's nothing wrong with a baseline vehicle. I just, this one in particular, I don't like it.
And this show is brought to you by Ford.
Yeah.
There we go.
I don't like it either. Yeah. We just don't like our new trucks. And it's nothing to do with Ford.
No, I'm
just-
joking. Terry?
Oh God, you guys probably won't even remember these things called a Lada.
Of course. Of course we do.
Jesus.
Like a buddy's old man
But those
used to
things
fix
are
them.
A
indestructible.
lot of shit. Oh really?
Those
A lot of
indestructible.
shit.
Yeah.
It's a Russian.
Apparently they use them over there as chicken coops.
Really?
Yeah,
What the? What construction sound or noise do you guys love?
I like a hammer drill, a high-pitched hammer drill.
Really?
Yeah.
The older I get, those high pitches are really annoying. I got to throw on the muffs.
Not the low, slow ones. I like a nice screaming high pitch.
I like the circular saw, like the skill saw.
Skill saws.
Yeah, because it's means it's getting done. It's getting built. And let's face it, framing is one of those things, right?
That's when you start to see the shape. The shape happens.
quickly. Yeah.
What construction sound or noise do you guys hate?
Quiet.
Just like Jim, man. He said silence.
Yeah, silence. That's how
Nothing-
I
nothing comes
answered
to
mine.
mind.
Nothing. I didn't say a word.
Right.
Nothing comes to mind?
Pass-load Dailer.
No, nothing comes to mind
Not a fan.
that I can think of at this point.
What profession other than your own would you like to attempt, gentlemen?
I'd like to blow up buildings internationally. I like to be flown around
The good old days
world.
of Las Vegas when
Yeah.
you used to just
So I'd
drop
be
those,
flown around the world.
Yeah.
And just blow up buildings.
bring it in.
Yeah.
The Acme dynamite thing.
Yeah. That's what I would do.
What would I like to do?
I think you're doing it.
Hit the road, trout. I mean, I don't know. Just hit the road
Live.
in my car, live. That's
Live.
it, yeah.
What
Driver, man. You like to drive.
What profession would you guys not like to do?
Just probably sit in an office all day doing the same thing over and over again.
And making
And that could be,
millions.
and that could be many professions.
Yeah, I
but
wouldn't want to be a lawyer.
A lawyer.
I wouldn't want to be. No.
And the last question, if heaven exists, what would you like to hear God say when you arrive at the pearly gates?
probably lot of mercy.
You did a good job.
Well done. Yeah, that's a good one.
Perfect. Thanks so much, guys. So
Thanks, Manny.
follow Caruk Hall on IG. Caruk Hall it's Caruk Hall Construction on IG, right? No, it's not. It's Caruk Hall.
CarukHall.com.
And then it's CarukHallConstruction.com, isn't it?
No construction.
No
just
construction.
Caruk Hall.
Where's it? Is there a Caruk Hall Construction on IG?
Is there? There
Yeah,
might be.
yeah.
One of them, I think.
Maybe it is. Yeah. it
One of
is.
them.
You're right.
On
Find
IG,
it. Do a
yeah,
search.
yeah.
You'll find it Caruk Hall, and you'll find it on IG and also on the outside there. So, thanks again, Jim.
Hey, thank you, man.
This has been a great talk. Thank
Yeah.
you so much, Dan. Thank you so much,
pleasure.
Terry. Really
Dan,
appreciate it.
Jimmy, Manny.
Really appreciate it, man. Thanks, guys. Take care.